I don't know. Just felt like there was a delay in setting it up today. I'm not sure what was happening, but anyway, want to welcome everybody to Halftime Chat R&B podcast. I have to make sure I remember the genre name. And as we review and talk about our favorite songs from Blackstreet's Another Level, the 1996 sophomore album from the group. So much memories about this, and we're going to really go into the album, the impact, the time, everything, even their role on the Home Again tour. But before that, as always, let's introduce our lovely panel. I'll start with you, VJ. How are you doing?
I'm good. As I mentioned to you guys a little while ago, I went to see Michael for the second time today in central
Oh,
London, and it was an interesting show. The perform it was just a movie, right? So a movie's a movie. You go home after it's finished, but this was very different. Everybody got up. 75-80% of the crowd got up every time there was a song that came on, went to the front of the auditorium, danced to the song. Everybody went nuts. Everybody was chanting Michael, Michael. It felt like there was a lot of hysteria around the show, and we felt a lot of love. And this is what life should be about: love, music, connecting with human beings, and it was beautiful. I mean, I'm a big baby anyway. I had a tear walk through at some points in that, and I loved it. Very, very nice. I just never experienced anything like that. So that's all I had to report. Nothing else really. Wow.
okay. So, as a Tottenham fan, has it been a good weekend as well?
Relief more than anything else. I I would have got a lot of stick for about the next 5 years, I reckon, because
If you had been relegated and Arsenal had won the Champions League.
definitely. I mean, if we got relegated, we'd never have heard the end of it. They would have talked about it for years and years, and I would never have been allowed to forget it. But if they'd won the Champions League, they would have rubbed it in my face for the next 5 years. So I'm glad they lost. Sorry, relieved, and I can breathe a sigh of relief. And in London, they were just everywhere. There was a really a good parade, and I'm glad they got to celebrate their Premier League win. I hope they had a lot of fun there. Yeah, but Champions League, thanks. I'm good.
Okay. Stevie, how about you? How you doing?
Good evening, all. How you all doing? Fantastic to be with yourselves, Namdi, VJ, Lorraine, and great to see you. All you viewers out there, great. I've had a good weekend. I did another vinyl search video yesterday. I went in one particular record store, and I'm stood at the counter, and I looked down, and there was a box on the floor of cassette tapes, and I'm like, wow. And I picked one particular tape out. Then I realised there was like 50 copies of this cassette tape, brand new, never been played. I don't know if you can see this. Won't show. From 1995.
Okay,
There was a box, but I couldn't believe it. I thought, where's this box come from? Full of cassette tape, R. Kelly cassette tapes, unplayed.
Yeah.
But anyway, the guys in there were very kind because they know I spend a bit of money in there. They go, "Oh, just take a couple of copies, Steve. Will you take a couple of copies?" So yeah, I was there, and I will be giving a copy to an unnamed good friend of mine one day, so he'll get a copy as well. But yeah, good evening all. Hope you're all right. Yeah, I could get some more copies of it. I shouldn't say that because everybody will want a copy, won't they? You know what I mean? Just keep quiet.
Want to welcome you, last exit to Brooklyn, J Hart. Welcome, Derek from Minneapolis. Welcome. Yes. Before we get to you, Lorena, Foster Silvers, one of the youngest from the Silver family, passed away yesterday. Condolences to the family. Also, last exit to Brooklyn says, "You'll never sing that. You never sing that. You're
Champions.
champion."
It goes like this. It goes, "You'll never sing that. You'll never sing that. Champions of Europe. You'll never sing that."
Okay.
So, I was singing that a lot yesterday, but yeah.
Okay.
And I'm not a good singer, as you obviously know now. Lorena's thinking, what's going on here?
So we would call it a football chant, but for you guys across the Atlantic, it's called a soccer chant. So yes, but yes, Daryl, welcome as well. Before we get into Blackstreet's another level, Lorena, how have you been? What's been going on?
I'm doing good. I think I'm gonna put the light on because it got extremely dark. I think it's about to storm.
What?
Yeah.
What time is it?
It's only 4:30, but
Wow.
they said like we're supposed to have a storm with like hail, so
Oh,
hopefully
okay.
that doesn't happen.
She's from Canada, so yeah, they have Mounties on oxes, so that's how Cody gets out there. What do the Mounties ride? Do they drive horses or?
It's horses.
Oh, not the moose. They don't ride horse. They don't ride the moose. I thought they. Okay,
Mm-mm,
okay, yeah, okay. Wow.
Nancy, I
Outside,
want to share something if I can. Whenever you're done, I'm just going.
Yeah.
I wanted to share something.
yeah. But outside that, Lorena, what else has been happening? How's your show and your guests and stuff?
Everything is being put on hold. I have to get everything going again, so it's slowly gonna come back. I just been really busy with my nonprofit stuff, so as soon as that calms down, then I'll have more time to get back into interviews.
Okay.
Lorena, what do you do with non-profit stuff? What do you do?
I basically help youth, like kids. So it's something I
Wow.
started, I would say like 10 years ago, I think. And I just started it myself, but then I finally got it registered as a nonprofit. So I do like, I pay for like someone's prom. We do back to school giveaway stuff. I do different workshops. So different stuff like that. So it's
Wow.
prom season. So we're busy with our prom winners.
That's wonderful.
It is.
Yeah. If people want to support that, how can they do that? How can they support the charity?
Well, you could follow us on Instagram. It's the Crown Project. So that's where we are. But I'm getting all the stuff together and revamped. So I'll have like more information, but everything will be updated on Instagram.
Okay. If you can put it in a private chat and then I can post it, then the actual the ship is things at private chat. If you type it in there, then I can
Okay.
post it. Yes. Benzins, welcome. Always appreciate your support. Dio, welcome. And this is the first time.
You support from Benzins as always. You support, man.
Yes.
Big him up. Big Benzins up. Dale, how you doing? Daryl, yes. J Hood, music tips, reviews. They're all here. Our staunch supporters are here this evening. Last exit from Brooklyn. Yep. Anybody else? Tell us you're here so we can give you a shout. Donald, see you. Tell us if you're here.
Yeah.
Get yourself in the chat. We'll give you a shout.
Benzins has just seen the Michael movie for the 12th time. For the 12th time.
Wow.
That is
He's setting a record there. He's setting a record.
I think he might like the movie. I just a feeling.
You might like the movie. Okay.
That's here.
Yes. Okay. I think this is this the first time? What did VJ, Lorena, and ourselves we came together during the halftime chat 6-year anniversary. So this would be our 4 of us being together to do an album review. So I hope it goes. I hope you guys appreciate what we're doing today, and but also the fact that we picked this album. But before we get into that, VJ, you had something to say. Then we can talk about another level.
So I've been clearing my music and my bits and pieces, my magazines from back in the day. I've got lots of Right On magazine and all of those vibe type magazines. In the UK, there was a magazine called Blues and Soul. And this was the first one I ever bought. And I bought it because there was a fold out poster of Michael Jackson in it. Makes sense. I was a kid. Michael Jackson's in it. And there was something in this magazine called the Hit List. And this particular hit list the hit list was basically the hottest music that was out that fortnight. So if you were a collector, these are the things that they were recommending that you go out and find. At the top of this, the Michael Jackson one, Just Around the Bad tour. Number one was the Guy first album.
Wow.
And I found that fascinating. Like, it's interesting. Like, the first one I bought because Mike was Michael, and Guy as well. And I found two other copies of this Blues and Soul, and it was all that they were all around the album that we're reviewing today. So the first one is from where is it from? It's from this. It's saying October 1996, and look at that. It's got a review of Another Level on this. So that's Blackstreet on the front cover there. And this is a year later or 6 months later, Blackstreet on the cover. Because obviously when this album came out, it blew up. It blew up in such a way. It took over the airwaves, and it's one of the most streamed songs from the 90s in the world on any platform. It's in the top, whatever. It's like that one song that I'm sure we will discuss at some point during this. It had a life of its own.
Yeah.
It's extraordinary how successful that song was.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get into it. Colin, goodness, we haven't seen you in God knows forever.
Yes.
Good to see you, Colin.
Jez is celebrating his birthday, so happy birthday to Jez.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, DJ Watch These. Happy birthday to you.
So, Lorena, we'll probably start with you, the youngest on the panel. When did you first hear this album, Blackstreet's Another Level?
When it actually came out, that's the thing. Like when VJ was saying, like this album was huge. So here in Canada, it was also a big album. And for us to not have, well, here I'll talk about Montreal. Like we don't have a 24/7 hip hop and R&B station. So we have just regular pop, rock, or French stations, talk radio, things like that. And so to actually hear Blackstreet played on the radio, that's how you knew like this was such a huge deal.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so this was a big album. My mom had bought it when it came out. She had got the CD. So it was played all the time in the house. And like even at school, we would be singing the songs. Like it was just huge. So I definitely remember this album, and just doing this and listening to all the songs again. A lot of it like came back to me from when I was young. So yeah, this was huge.
So 96, I was in university in Milwaukee, in Wisconsin. And as an avid, massive Teddy and New Jack Swing fan, and I didn't know that they were working on their sophomore album. So I remember the first album. When I listened to the debut album, it transports me back to 93. It transports me back to really being appreciating the music and the album. But in 96, there was nothing. There was no publicity that they're back in the studio, they're working on the songs. And I remember this day I was watching BET, and I just see the video, just see the dum dum on the guys coming out of the car, and it stopped breaking down, and the video. So I didn't hear it on the radio. I just saw the video, and it just like what's going on? What's this? I still remember the little dolls and everything. They got Hype Williams to do the video, so I saw the video first, and which is unheard of. Normally, you get the radio played, then they do the video. I don't know what happened where it just went, let's just do the video, and it was like, oh, what's going on? And but then I'm watching the video, and I'm like, oh, where's Levi? Where's Dave Hollister? What's going on? And if you notice in the video, you don't necessarily see Eric and Mark, because they're you see Teddy, you see Chauncey, so it's mostly the two of them, and you don't notice what's going on. And then I was surprised to hear that both Eric and both Levi and David left, and it's like, okay, what's going on? Um, I still remember all of that. And the final part before I move on to the rest of you guys is, as I said, I've been, for those who might not remember, I lived in the States for 10 years. I was very much, watching all these programs. And I'm very much into the Tonight Show. I was watching Jay Leno, and the Blackstreet come. So when a group goes big, when they go on to things like the Tonight Show with Jay Leno, and he says, "We want to we want to thank these groups because they have knocked the Macarena off the number one spot." No Diggity was the number one Billboard 100. It knocked the Macarena off the top of the number one chart. So this is not R&B chart. That's the biggest song in the country, and it was on there for 4 weeks, and it knocked the Macarena off the Billboard 100. And Jay just says, "Man, we the nation owes you a great gratitude." And then for me as a fan, watching my favorite artist and group on the biggest shows and getting all that love. I mean, they were on MTV. They did an unplugged on MTV. That's how big they became in that moment. I mean, they were on, but if you watch MTV back in the day, they would be, when I think it was a December, and they sang "Never Gonna Let You Go." There, it was like a MTV away in the ski lodge, and there's Blackstreet sing. I mean, they got on mainstream pop, that kind of coverage, and there was no way and they were getting bigger. And to think that the album came out on the same day that New Edition's Home Again album came out. They both were released on the same day, and New Edition debuted higher than Blackstreet on that day. And New Edition was actually the bigger, because everyone was like, the return of New Edition, and Bobby is with there. So New Edition, but I used to read the charts every week, and New Edition debuted higher, but Blackstreet started to creep higher. New Edition came down, and New Edition were doing the black radio, but Blackstreet had the big pop radio, and they went on and sold over 4 million. But we'll talk about the Home Again tour and everything later. Miss Sevagnon, welcome. We haven't seen you in a while. Bonjour. I'm sure the streets of Paris are celebrating the Champions League victory. Yes. What was it like then, VJ, here in the UK, and then also Stevie? Because as I said, I'm telling you about what it was like being in the States at that time.
I will mention that in a moment. I just wanted to say congratulations, Donald, on your team winning. Fantastic. I don't know what you're talking about, but congratulations nonetheless, and nice to have you. And last exit, I think people should hear your promo story when you met Blackstreet during this period. I think you should discuss that at some point. For me, I got this album the day it came out. I remember going to, I think it was Uptown Records. It was a record store on Darblay Street in Soho. And I remember I bought 3 copies that day. Don't ask me. You can only listen to one album at a time, but I bought 3 copies.
3 copies on the album.
I was excited about this album. This was I really liked the first album, and the buzz was incredible. I mean, everybody, the promos that were selling in these record shops, and the DJs that were receiving the promos, there was a buzz around this particular project, because a lot of people felt that the first album hadn't really hit the mark that it should have. I mean, the first album is an incredible project, and it was a little bit more street, for want of a better word. This one felt a little bit polished, but the buzz was incredible. So yeah, I'm not surprised that it beat New Edition, because we were excited about the Home Again album, really excited. We were expecting the New Edition album around Word to the Mother, right? When BBD did that track.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
with Ralph and the other Bobby and Johnny, and then there was a long gap, and then this was it. New Edition are coming out, but that summer was all about Blackstreet. Let's be honest, it was massive.
in the US it was different. As I said, and okay, Lorena, how was it in Canada when New Edition, Home Again, because they had Hit Me Off? Was that again? You don't have black radio, but did you notice New Edition?
Yeah, there was a show in Toronto. They had their music station called Much Music. So there was a show on Saturdays that would play black music, basically. So the video, I remember the video being played. I remember seeing it like I'd go to my grandmother's house like during the holidays or whatever. So I remember it playing like on BT, but it wasn't huge in Canada. Like it wasn't a big
Mm.
thing. Like I knew of the song and I liked the song, but I didn't know of that whole album. Like that was not on my radar. But also, you guys, I was 10, so
Okay, yeah, yeah.
that might also be why. So I was more influenced with what was playing in my house, and for sure, like we have the CD for Blackstreet, but New Edition, no.
Okay, Stevie, what about you then? What was the? Did you notice about the both albums coming out on the same day? Was it one bigger than the other at the
I'll
time?
tell you what, I'll tell you the story I've got. I was in Fat City Records, 1996, beginning of September. Fat City at the time was a big hip hop record store in Manchester. Sadly, not here it anymore. Mike Stevens was in there. He'd started working and he was selling promos to the R&B collectors like myself. And he had a copy in his bag. And I've never seen this 12-inch since. It was the Blackstreet promo, No Diggity. There was a sticker on it. I think it might have just been an album version, but I've never seen this promo again. And he played it for the first time in the shop. And I held my hands up. I didn't know what to make of it. The next day, I flew out to Orlando with two guys, Andy Mad Hatter and Darren, who were running a record label called Old English Records. And they were, I've kind of mentioned this story in the past, but we spent 2 weeks going around the US, trying to look for work for the record label to license some stuff. But we hired a car, put the radio stations on, and we heard 5 records on repeat all day. Payola radio. I keep using that word, payola. And it was Blackstreet, No Diggity. It was Shades, Tell Me. That one sampling, not LL Cool J. They want the track from the 80s. Which, Who Do You Love? What else? What else was big?
Bernard Wright.
Yeah, Bernard Wright. Aaliyah was being promoted. The first track from the album. KP and Envy, Swing My Way. That was I can't remember. And the fifth might have been an Outcast record. But the first record store we walked in, and I had £500 spending money for 2 weeks. And I can't, that didn't last long. Because the minute I walked in that record store, there was the New Edition album had just dropped, the Blackstreet album, and there was even that Mariah Carey CD single in there with Slipping Away on the B-side. So I'm just grabbing all these, and my guys like Steve, we'll be going a million of these record stores. They've got all these. You're spending your money now on the first day. Don't do it. And they were right, because I ran out of money so quickly. But to get those albums on the first day, I mean, it's just unheard of, isn't it? Blackstreet, a New Edition. Crazy. So yeah, I was very excited. Very, very excited to get both them albums.
Stevie, you mentioned No Diggity with a sticker.
I'm going to say you probably got that promo.
Is that the one?
That's probably it. That's probably the one, mate. Is that it's got the album mix on?
Single version, which is the album mix,
Yeah.
very nice, and a cappella and instrumental. And it's the
Yes,
same on the
probably
other.
that one.
Yeah. I was so at this time there's a big store. I don't know if they have it in Canada. Best Buy, do they have it in Lorraine?
Now we do. Before we had the Canadian version, it was called Future Shop.
Okay, yeah. So I worked at Best Buy. I was in university and I worked at Best Buy and I worked in the music department. So so when both albums came out, I went to work. I mean, I wouldn't even call it a job, because I would go into so I would just be and when you're working in the music store, the music that's played in the sold store, well, in the music section, is controlled by our place. So I was just putting in another level and playing the whole album. Then I'll play the Home Again, and then I'll keep stacking up another level so people can come and buy. And I noticed how it was getting sold really quickly and stuff. And yeah, that was my and but as I said, I'm always reading the Billboard magazines, looking at how it was performing and doing my best to help sell it and stuff like that. It was because the song was very unconventional. It wasn't what it. I hadn't heard it. Nothing like that was being played. It just sounded very much different. Um, and at that time, everyone knows Hype Williams is a $1 million director, so he does the best and best videos. And it was a real clean cut video, and yes, very very different, and it was a very different album. Now I will say I would say that as much as it was a much more commercially successful album, I still preferred the sonic and the recording of the debut album. I think the Another Level felt programmed. It didn't feel like I sonically. When I listen to it, doesn't feel. It feels like I was listening to music that was programmed, so artificial, as opposed to when I'm listening to Another Level. It sounds like as though they had real musicians in the studio, and they might not have. And I've shared this with John Marie, and Teddy upgraded his he went from Logic to something I don't know side. But that's the one thing that I get, is that it does feel programmed, as opposed to the sense that it was live musicians making the production. That not said, I had to appreciate the fact that what this album did compared to, say, Guy used to, is that they said the wealth. We're not going to depend on one singer. We're going to make sure everyone is part of it vocal. And I don't know what you guys think about having Mark Middleton coming into the group. And also Eric, because they were both vocally different than Levi and Dave Hollister. What did you guys make of the change of lineup for the Another Level, and how much and the richness in sound?
VJ, could you just do me a favor 1 minute? I've just got to leave the record shop. There's an original copy up there of Della Soul. Make sure nobody comes in and steals it, please. 1 minute.
Whilst I tend to the shop, I'll just say I really like the first album, and I like the combination of the singers on the first album. So I was a bit surprised, and I felt sad. I liked Levi. I thought Levi on the first album was fantastic. I liked Blackstreet with Joseph Stonestreet in the beginning, and then when Dave Hollister came in. But as I got to understand the album a little bit better and the singles started coming out, I thought, wow, Eric Williams has got his thing. And then, obviously he was a member of the Flex, and Marley Mark, Darren Lighty with the group. That was back in 1990, I think, or 89. Phenomenal vocalists, and I was happy. And then Mark Middleton was in a group called Brick City, which was, I think, LeVay Malison's project in 94. And Mark Middleton is a powerhouse vocalist. Like, he is the cream of the cream. When that boy opens his mouth, it's over. It's done. So my original reaction was disappointed that the Levi and David gone. But when I settled into the group, I really, really appreciated Eric and Mark, because they're both seriously talented vocalists, and they suit the Blackstreet dynamic. And obviously they both smashed it. Like, every song that they were featured on, phenomenal.
Yeah. Lorraine, I guess because if you're 10 when the second sophomore album came out, I think in subsequent years, did you get to listen to the debut album? Did you have an opinion on the lineup change?
No, so I haven't listened to the full debut album. So
wow.
This version of Blackstreet, that's the version that I was not introduced in, sorry. So like when I first saw them like visually in a music video would be the No Diggity music videos. And then following them in different magazines and things like that, that's when I really like recognized who the group is. So unfortunately for me, I didn't really listen to the original versions or have like to compare it to. So
Okay.
now that I do hear this, I'm definitely gonna go back and then hear with the different lineup
Okay.
and to see how it is.
Yeah. Have you not heard Joy and Before I Let You Go?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Yeah.
But I love that you were introduced to. It's interesting because, like, when you know a group at this time or you know a group at this time, you were introduced to this album. This was your first introduction to Blackstreet, so you have a completely your ears are different. So
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to hearing your list because this was your introduction to the world of Blackstreet. Phenomenal. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've met Levi, Mark, Eric, and Chauncey, and I would say that meeting Mark Middleton, he was constantly singing. He's just walking around singing. It's almost like that was the one thing I know. He would just be singing continuously. And so there was just an innate love for singing. Interviewing Eric is very withdrawn. He's camera shy. He said he never wanted to be a performer. He just wanted to write songs and get other people to sing them. So he isn't the guy that likes to take center stage. He's the reluctant singer in the group. But I think what you get from him is that a very different vibe when he writes, because he's written for Jaheim and for Donnell Jones. So he's very much in that kind of neo R&B stuff, and so he brings a different tone and stuff in his writing, and Chauncey has a very underrated vocal, and I think because he might not be on the biggest songs that Blackstreet. When you think of biggest songs, you have Joy, Before I Let You Go, Don't Leave Me, No Diggity, and so Chauncey might not be singing those songs, but there's a smoothness to his vocals that seems to not get appreciated. So there was something in an appreciation for their dynamics, and they were not like what Jodeci were. Um, and I think what I appreciated about this album is that in the debut Blackstreet album, I think Teddy was heavily influenced in the West Coast stuff. So it was a lot more George Clinton instead of his normal James Brown samples. And so he was almost like, well, that seems to be what's selling. And he went down that direction, which I didn't truly appreciate. But with this, it's almost like, let's just stay in our own lane, which is what was, and they went into a lane that actually made them get appreciated across. And just finally from me, something that was new for the music industry when they released Don't Leave Me. They released the video, they released it on radio, but they didn't release the single. So they didn't have the single being released. So the only way you could get the single is you buy the album in the US. So that was what some art labels were doing in order to push the album. So Don't Leave Me was such a big song. If it was released as a single, it would have been number one. But you had to buy the album. So that's what took the album to, as I said, quadruple platinum. And that was a smart move. And you forget the fact that at this time they had the beef with Death Row. Tupac had the same sample on I Ain't Mad at You. But because the vocals of Blackstreet were so big, you didn't even notice that they were using the same sample, the same song, and I Ain't Mad at You and Don't Leave Me came out the same month. And even Toss It Up was almost very similar to No Diggity when they had the beef. But Interscope really pushed the Blackstreet brand, and the music was good enough. So it wasn't like they just paid money to get it out there. It's actually, if you listen to it, you appreciate it, and it just took the group to another level as well.
And Namdi, I know we've got to get on with the list, but and I never have the blues and soul with the hip list for album that we're reviewing. So this is like, this really is a fascinating piece of history. I'm just, if you can indulge me, I just wanted to tell you, this is, I think this particular issue of Blues and Soul was a few weeks after Another Level came out. So if I can just mention some of the artists that were hot at that time, yeah? So number 1 on the list was 702's album. You had Blackstreet's Another Level was at number 7. Home Again is number 35 on the list. And Blackstreet's No Diggity is number 12. So I'm just trying to tell you, this album was massive. This is weeks after it's released. It's still creating a buzz for collectors. Like you had Johnny Gill's The Johnny Gill album. You had Mark Morrison track there. Gina Thompson, Nobody Does It Better album. A Tribe Called Quest with Faith Evans, Stressed Out. Horace Brown, Things We Do for Love was hot. D'Angelo and Eric Sermon, Me and Those Dreaming Eyes. There's a lot of great music at the time. And just reading them out, you think, wow, what a time that was.
Yeah. And the I don't know if they came to Canada. So New Edition headlined the Home Again tour. This was the first time that all 6 of them were going to be on the tour. And then the supporting act was Blackstreet. And then the opening, and then in some cities, Keith Sweat was on the tour. And the opening act was 702. And so for me, this was my, Michael Jackson moment, seeing New Edition and seeing Blackstreet. So they came to Milwaukee in '97, Home Again tour, the best concert I've ever been in my life. And we were told, oh, Keith's not well, so he's not going to open up. So he didn't come. At that point, I didn't really care. 702 show up, and I told this to Mila. I'm like, who are these little kids singing up? There was, when you're coming in early, and then you've got you get the group singing. They're singing a song, and I hadn't, their song, Stilo hadn't really hit, and so I was like, okay, yeah, just waiting for the warm up, and then of course Blackstreet show up, and I said this to them because they did a big set, and. This was like, man, look at Teddy, look at Blackstreet I was there singing and everything. And then at the, the last song they sang was the No Diggity Billie Jean remix. So, and then they're playing Billie Jean and they're doing the Michael Jackson stuff. So if you ever see their Unplugged, when they start to do, they start to do almost like the sort of the Jackson 5 stuff. And it was like, oh man, they only got an hour of them. Then of course, New Edition comes out, and it's Bobby's set, it's BBD's set, it's Johnny Gill, it's Ralph's, and they do the old school, and then Johnny comes out and they do the Is It Isn't Love. Then they all come out to do that. They could have just toured on their own, but that was just an awesome experience and stuff. All right, I've spoken to them. I think of all the albums we've reviewed, this is probably, as I mentioned, I really studied this album, studied the era. I remember where I was, as I said, Best Buy out in downtown Milwaukee, pushing it and promoting it, and stuff like that. Tone Corell, it talks about the difference between Joseph Stonestreet. So we can touch quickly on that. I think there was a difference when we heard the first. I didn't realize that they switched Joseph Stonestreet to Dave Hollister when I got the album version. And I think that was the first lineup change when Joseph Stonestreet sang Baby Be Mine. That felt really different. He vocally was very different, very strong. By the time they got to the album, Dave Hollister brought something different than what Joseph Stonestreet did, and I don't know the lineups how it changed the Another Level stuff. Anything to say about Stonestreet before we move on?
Stonestreet was an incredible vocalist. Absolutely, what a talent! But Joseph Stonestreet, that's a much bigger conversation. Incredible vocalist, and rest in peace. That his version of Baby Be Mine is just magnificent. That's a perfect song. When you think of a song that doesn't need any messing around. You don't need a remix. It's just perfect. That was Joseph Stonestreet's version of Baby Be Mine. But I will say every single vocalist that has been in Blackstreet can pull their weight. Every single one. You go from Terrell Phillips, incredible on Finally. You talk about any of the vocalists on this album, on the first album, any of the ones that have worked with Teddy live, every single vocalist is a killer. So the one thing I will say about Blackstreet, they have the best vocalists. They just, they've always hit the nail on the head.
Okay. All right. So let us get into this. So there was 19 sort of tracks on there. One of the things I wanted to talk about is track 14, the Blackstreet Radio. Blackstreet coming on. What was it? Blackstreet's. I can't remember how it goes now. Blackstreet's coming with Morris Baxter. Aha! I thought it was a really good spot, a really good sort of interlude where somebody said, "Yo, Teddy, what's up with the guy thing?" I thought it was really smart the way he answered it. Like, this is where I'm at. It was
not that smart, not that considering where he got it from, the whole thing.
Oh, what do you mean?
From the Sugar Hill days, the Crash Crew on the radio. Just completely ripped off from that.
I'd never heard of that because
I just thought I'd mention that. Just want to throw that out there. It's not that original, but what they put over it is original, I guess.
But as an interlude, I agree with what you're saying, Namdi. I know what you're saying, Stevie. As a song, it's like lots of things are sampled. But as an interlude, it really did feel different for this. Very different from the interludes from the first album as well.
Yeah, because it in a way introduced the new members, and in a way it helped understand that it's very rare for people to be able to say what's up with Guy, and to say yep, this is where I'm at now, and it was like, oh, okay, at least he acknowledged that. So I felt it was definitely a really really helpful part of the interview to have that. And then finally, I think in the 90s, it felt like, which you don't get in any other era, everyone had to put in a gospel track kind of thing. So they felt like, we need to. Now it looks stressful. It's like, wow, this is just strange because people accepted it. At the end, you just put a gospel track, and whether people are religious or not, it's accepted. It's put out there. So definitely interesting at the moment. And then the final thing was the Black in the Street interlude, which was a little strange because Chauncey was always given the name Black, but Street was named after Joseph Stonestreet, and it was almost like we needed to give it to claim the origin so that we don't necessarily need to explain about Joseph Stonestreet, which I don't know if that was needed. Any thoughts on that?
Sorry, any thoughts on what, sorry? On
the fact that Teddy said he's now going to be called Street and Chauncey is Black. When initially from the debut, from when CB4 soundtrack came on, it was Joseph Stonestreet and Chauncey Black Hannibal that were the nucleus of why the name Blackstreet came about, and in the Black and Street intro, Teddy tried to almost like, let's rewrite the meaning of how the origin of the name came about. That's why I was asking if anyone had any thoughts about it.
Well, for me, I think so when Joseph Stonestreet left, he left. So whatever the circumstances were around, we don't need to get into that. But I think there was in a situation where you had Chauncey Black and you had the word street, they had to make a situation that could work. Why not call him Teddy Street Riley? And I think that's what's happened there. I don't know what the logic would have been there, what they would have done. I don't know the inner thinkings, but that would make sense. You got to make the best of a situation, right?
Yeah.
But I find
Um,
that interesting too. Like, I want to know like who was behind the marketing of the album, because it was like a tricky time if you're changing group members that sometimes have that sometimes has like a bad effect with the fans because they like the members that were there before. So for this album to explode the way that it did, I would really love to know like who was behind the marketing and the PR for the album.
Yeah, I don't know who did all of that, but they definitely hit it out of the park, didn't they?
Mhm.
yeah, and I think, yeah, and I don't know if people got to know the group well enough to have time to notice the change. You know, I don't think that we sat with them as much to know. I think Dave Hollister, before I let you go, that was a big song, and Joy with Levi were big songs. Um, but I think they came out so strong that it's recognized that those who had left, and you just then picked up vocally what was going on. Yeah, so we're going to go through it. Just before we go, Benson just came out that Peebo Bryson has just suffered a stroke. He is how old is he? Yes, I think he's 75. So our thoughts are he's 75. Our thoughts are with him and his family.
And
All
and
right.
also rest in peace to Foster Silvers. I think some people did mention it in the early part of the chat. That's very sad. So much good music from that. Yeah, it's very sad.
Yes. Okay. So I always do this, and I've had to learn to do that. Anyone who's just joining us, what we're going to do now is we've talked about the album, and so now we're rating our 10 favorite songs of the album. We start with number 10 and make our way down to number 1. And by the time we get to number 1, we tend to then count down other songs, and we talk a little bit about why we put the song in there. So there's about 19 songs. Some of them are interludes. So for you guys at home, it's always great in the chat because everything that you're writing in the chat, we are seeing. So you could start with your number 10 song on from the album down to your favorite, and along with us. So then we see how many people do have the same number 1 as a favorite. And we're going to go clockwise, starting with myself and finishing with Lorena. And at number 10 for me is the second track of the album, This Is How We Roll. That comes in at number 10 for me. It was definitely, let me see, he's in control. Yeah, it was a good laid back sort of intro for me. I like the because it followed on from the sort of the Black and Street sort of interlude, saying like what we're going to be bringing in, and it was just a nice little vibe from that. And yeah, I appreciated the production, and yeah, This Is How We Roll at number 10 for me. Daya, I think the reason why we're just doing top 10, I think there'll probably be 14 songs on there, but it then helps understand that it helps to know, it keeps us a suspense as to what's number 1. Yeah, VJ, what's number 10 for you?
My number 10, produced by Teddy, co-produced by Tommy Sims. Very interesting writing credits here. Written by Tommy Sims, Teddy Riley, Mark Middleton, and the incredible Karen Anderson. Phenomenal songwriter. My number 10 is Happy Song Tonight. Great, uplifting, makes you feel good. Great place to start. That's my number 10.
Okay. Stevie.
I've gone for an interlude, much like the one.
An interlude?
Yeah, much like the one you was discussing earlier, which was jacked off one of the what was it? Sugar Hill. Yeah, it's very much inspired or ripped off, whichever way you want to look at, by Earth, Wind and Fire. But it was My Paradise, the interlude. It went on for over 2 minutes. and it's a very long interlude. I mean, a lot of artists now only make 2-minute tracks, so it's longer than that. So you could say it's a track in itself, but really good interlude.
But that's the thing with Blackstreet. They did interludes so well, you wish that they were songs. And that's a good example. I get why you put that at number 10. Fair enough.
Okay. Lorena, what's number 10 for you?
Okay, coming in at number 10 for me is I Want to Be Your Man. That is my number 10 pick.
Okay. Let me see.
Nice. That's a nice choice. Love it.
And by the way, this was kind of hard.
It's always hard. It's always hard.
Very hard. And I'm only sharing this because it didn't make my top 10. But I Want to Be Your Man was co-produced by Spragg Dougie Williams, and his contribution on that song it's lovely. It's really lovely. Great choice, Lorena.
Yeah. Waiting for baby, baby, baby. I wanna. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Andy, you should sing the whole song, man. We're here for it, man. We're here for it.
Whatever you want, I'll give it to you. That is my number 9. I'll give it to you. Let me try and remember. It's strange because I've listened to it, picked up my stuff. Sherry Blair did a lot of writing on this album as well. I think, as I said, I do wonder sonically. There was something that I just didn't like sonically about if it was. So I think one of why there's something about the production of the Bobby album that felt more authentic to me, and there's a difference in sonic and the sounding of this album compared to, say, the 7 tracks he did on the Bobby album, and so that's always the thing about me. And I do wonder if they had recorded this the same time, and or even when they did the Blackstreet album, if I would have appreciated some of these songs a little bit better. But yes. So my number 9 is, as I mentioned, is I'll give it to you.
Nice. My number 9 samples DeBarge, The Lord Is Real from '83. It's the gospel track that you just mentioned. The Lord Is Real, Time Will Reveal. But the vocalists on this list is just crazy. It's just crazy. You've got Karen Anderson. We mentioned her as a songwriter. Fantastic voice. You've got Ilan. You've got Beverly Crowder. Incredible vocalist. At the time of this album, her name was Lamenga Ford. She became Lamenga Caffey shortly after that. So I believe she got married. You had Shannon Cooper. But the most interesting thing about this whole album for me is the fact that Daryl Deezo Adams is a vocalist on this song. Absolutely powerhouse vocalist. But the combination of all those vocalists really makes this song work. So that's my number 9, sorry.
Okay. Stevie.
I've gone for I Want to Be Your Man. Again, another inspired by Roger and Zapp. Just a nice song. Nice track to put at the top end of my chart.
Okay. Lorena.
So number 9, I have to agree with VJ. I put The Lord Is Real, Time Will Reveal. I think you don't have a classic 90s R&B album if you don't have a gospel track in there. And I actually thought it was really well done. So I really liked how they put it together. I feel like Teddy was on his Kirk Franklin in the song too. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. So it's made it in my top 10 at number 9.
Okay. We're moving quickly along. For a long time, at this number 8, if we went back to 96, 97, this would have been higher. And they were everywhere. So as I mentioned, I was such a massive Blackstreet fan, and I remember watching them on MTV, and it was around November, and they're in their they're in their black leathers, no, not leathers, it's like their hats and their gloves, and it was snowy, and they're singing this song live. Never gonna let you go away. You belong to me. And I'm like, wow, this Mark guy can sing. He can proper sing. The only part of the song that I didn't like was when they got it to the bridge, and it was and it's nothing about Chelsea, but that part sort of I think that was the part that I just didn't appreciate of the song, when it goes, when it breaks down into that part before he gets back into it again. But Mark really took it to another level with his vocals on that track. But Never Gonna Let You Go comes in at number 8 for me.
My number 8 is obviously all the tracks are produced by Teddy, so I'm not going to say the producer's name again and again. This track is co-produced by Xavier Hargrove. That is another fascinating name to have on this. Xavier Hargrove worked very closely with Dallas Austin for Dark Productions. So that is very interesting. He did a fantastic remix for Wendy Motten, a step-by-step remix, which is, I won't get into that, but it's phenomenal. Written by Teddy, Chauncey, Xavier Hargrove, and another incredible writer who also wrote Tell Me What You Like for Guy, a lady called Sherry Blair. First mention of her. My number 8 is I'll Give It to You. And I think this could have been a single. I just, this somehow, there's something about this song which is just great. And I don't remember Xavier's name being on it back in the day, but reading that this week, I listened to this a lot, and this would have been a good single, I think. I really like this song a lot. I don't know why it's at number 8 now.
And Joseph's giving me the yellow card for putting Never Gonna Let You Go at number 8. But Stevie, what's at number 8 for you?
I've gone with This Is How We Roll. It's a bit formulaic. I like the mid tempo, like hip hoppy type production. Again, it's a good track. Nothing special, but you know, it's a good album filler. And I thought, again, it's at 10-9-8. Those are those kind of filler tracks, and that's where it should be.
Okay, Lorena.
Number 8, I have I'll Give It to You. I think it's a really good song. So that's why I have it in my top 10. I just felt like there's other songs that were like really, really good. So it comes in at number 8.
I think you're copying my list, Lorena.
I think so.
That's 2 in a row. That's 2 in a row.
Okay. So yeah. Hopefully, you guys are. So we're getting on to number 7 right now, and yes, I remember, you know, when you listen to, listening to the album, and then you notice that yes, they are bringing in different. So in the 90s, 2 things that you normally get. You normally will get a gospel track, and you generally get a Stevie cover. it felt like the thing you had to do, and that was the Stevie cover was ever since Jodeci did Lately. Everyone wanted to get a piece of that success, so everyone started. And then you had Intro, who did Rhythm in the Sky, so that became okay. Put in a Stevie track, but the other part was putting in either gospel or inspirational track, led to the Barge meets Blackstreet, and The Lord Is Real. And it starts off almost as if they're just covering the song word for word, and then they Mark just goes back to church. Now, I don't know if you guys knew this, but he went to the same church with Stanley Brown, and they grew up together. Mark
Who went to
Middleton.
church? Did that? Is that right?
Yeah, Mark Middleton and Stanley Brown. So when I interviewed Stanley, he says, "Yeah, Mark Middleton was in our choir when I was a kid." And then when I met Mark, he says, "Yeah. Say hi to Stanley. Yeah, we were singing together." And Aaron Hall was also in the same church, in the same choir. So you can see the pedigree of Mark Middleton from back in the day. But yes, you talk about Kirk Franklin imitation, but I didn't appreciate the song as much because when it's on track 19, it's almost like, oh, you've gone through and it's at the end, but it made sense at the end because this is like the goodbye track. But sometimes you don't appreciate it when it's so far back at the end, and so the Lord is real time we reveal. And Elder Barge gave it his thumbs up, said it definitely did a good job of that, and appreciated it as well. That's number 7 for me.
I've just imagined an entire new reality. Can you imagine if Stanley Brown and Mark Middleton and Aaron Hall recorded stuff together? That is a killer combo. Like Stanley Brown is a producer. He doesn't need anybody's help. He can do his thing. Aaron can sing his socks off. Mark can sing his socks off. That would have been 2 great projects. I can imagine like a Stanley Brown produced Aaron Hall album and a Stanley Brown produced Mark Middleton album. I think that would be quite cool. That's interesting, though. They were at the same church. Wow.
Yeah, they grew up together. But I guess one of the things that you start thinking about is back in the day, 80s and 90s, the bulk of the R&B talent came out from the church. And they it just shows you that it wasn't that there was a lack of singers, but it was the fact that you could have your pick, but you had to have something different to take you to the next level. So they all could sing vocally, and how much talent there was. You know, somebody mentioned how many other kids were like Michael back in the day. But if Joseph hadn't worked hard, would we ever know? Would we have ever seen that? So just imagine how much talent there was back in the day. Yeah. All right. So, VJ, what's number 7?
My 7 contains elements of the staple singers. Let's Do It Again from 75. Produced by Teddy, co-produced by Chauncey, written by Teddy Chauncey, Sherry Blair, and Markel Riley. I think this song should have been a single as well, because I think Chauncey absolutely nails this song. I know people have mentioned it already in the lists in the chat. I think Good Loving would have been a very, very good singer. I just don't know what it is about this song. You listen to the production, Chauncey, the way the vocal tone fits the production, it just fits. And I think this would have been great as a single. And I've just said 2 songs that should have been singles. I know you can't have everything as a single, but I think Good Loving would have worked. That's my number 7.
Good delivered in the day. Okay, good. Okay. Stevie.
The ballad Let's Stay in Love is number 7 for me. Just a nice ballad. Nice vocals. I wouldn't say could have been a single, but again, it's just a nice, solid album filler.
Let's stay together. Let's stay in love. Okay. And okay. Lorena.
Number 7, I have Never Gonna Let You Go at number 7.
Never Gonna Let. Okay. Did you ever see the performance live?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, if you search Never Gonna Let You Go MTV, yeah, they were singing it. I'm watching it and really proud that, man, these guys are on MTV. I mean, you know, it's MTV is not the same as it was back then, but you had your BET, you're on Video Soul or 1 and 6 and Park, and then if you get onto TRL, you know, that's it's like getting on BBC One, getting on the Kiss radio. You they're allowing you in the pop space because they want to give you access to the white kids who have money, and there's a massive difference that Blackstreet were given that space where they could be on. They were celebrated on MTV, and then given the opportunity to do an unplugged. Uptown Jodeci didn't have an unplugged, neither did Mary. They had an Uptown unplugged, so they all had to cram in. We just had their own stuff, and that was reserved to very few groups. I think the other group that did benefited from that, you had Pearl Jam and you had all these big artists. So for Blackstreet to just have their own unplugged, that was golden for me as a massive fan, just to see them there and appreciate them.
But they deserve that. You got to remember they deserve that. Like this album, the two songs you mentioned that "Don't Leave Me" wasn't released in America, which propped up the sales, and "No Diggity." Those two songs alone, they were stratospheric. That took this album to a different level. Blackstreet were in their own lane during this time, so it makes sense that they had their own unplugged. And the crazy thing about Blackstreet is they should be a household name now in 2026. Like, I don't think they really followed up this album with anything as popular as this. But you have like Michael Jackson had Thriller. Did he follow up Thriller with anything as good as Thriller? No, but he still had massive albums. Bad was massive. Dangerous was big. History was a big seller as well. But I don't think Blackstreet really, there was something missing. And as good as Finally was and Level 2 was, this was their peak. And yeah. I was reading somewhere this week, somebody said it's a shame that Blackstreet didn't hit those heights, because they had it. They had everything. They were, this group at that time, different planet, man. And I know what you mean. I get it. I get why they got an unplugged. Sorry, I'm rambling now.
No, you're not.
Man, I get what you're saying. That's what I'm saying.
No, you're not. And I'm looking at MTV Unplugged, and it was very much Oasis, Alice in Chains. It was Pearl Jam. There wasn't that many. I don't know how many black groups were given an opportunity on MTV Unplugged. It wasn't, Lauryn Hill had her stuff, but it was definitely not something. So for them to get that, they really, Jimmy Iovine truly believed in the stuff, and they gave them that spot. So, wonder if the lineup hadn't changed, because the successful album was Mark, Eric, Chauncey, and Teddy, if they were able to keep the same lineup and work collaboratively going into the next album. But the other thing was, Jamie Iovine, there was mergers in the record industry around in 99, and the rumor was Jimmy didn't want Blackstreet to be released because they were putting so much, trying to cut costs as they're merging. But some within the camp wanted to get the album out as quickly as possible because they wanted to build momentum. But the singles, Boyfriend, Girlfriend, did not really, it cost a lot of money to do the video, 1.5 million. The song didn't really hit. And then it just meant that was the end. But we'll get into that. All right.
There's a whole conversation around singles on that album. Confused was released. Rodney Jerkins and Teddy Riley, they both produced that track. That was on the Wild Wild West soundtrack. That should have been on the Finally album. It was on the promo album. Like, it was meant to come out on that album, but it didn't. That would have been an incredible single. The other one that I think should have been a single off that Finally album is the Daryl Deezo Adams track, Misery. Killer. I mean, Deezo's version of that he did with 911, killer. And Blackstreet nailed that as well. So there's some things, but yeah, but it is what it is. And life happens like that. What, are we on number 6?
No, we're I've just given my number 7, which is The Lord Is Real. What's your number 7?
My number 7 was Good Loving. I've said that one. We've talked about that one.
Okay. Stevie, what did you have as number 7?
I've already said it, mate. We're at number 6.
Is yours?
My number 6 is
Seven.
Let's Stay in Love.
Okay. And Lorena, what was your number 7?
Never Gonna Let You Go.
Never Gonna Let You Go. Okay, so that's how we got to the MTV Unplugged. Number 6 for me, I would say that I was a big fan of the album version. Did not like the video version, and I think this was part of what I talk about when I say that you got the exposure, and maybe there was something about trying to go too far to appease to a wider generation. I don't know who did it first. When Diddy did Bad Boys for Life, and they got this rock band, I don't know who did it first, but when they did Fix, and then they got Fish, and they got ODB, and they did this rocko version of it, I was like, okay, what's this? This, if it's the album version was such a different energy, and it was such a different sample, which Mary and sampled and Puffy sampled that, the sample from that, and then they went away from that and did the whole rock version, and I just didn't appreciate it at all. But album version Fix is at number 6 for me. I wish they'd just kept the album version, or made some slight changes to the when they released the video. But and also the video was, as I said, they started to, they did. It was okay. We've got this MTV market, so let's just go in that lane, and it just felt like, come on, you've got to remember your base, stay with your base, and let them come to you. Don't try and chase them. And I think it impacted how good that song could have been. And that was just me.
Zay said an interesting thing. He said, "Oh my God, I love the video version of Fix. It's busy, but I love it." I think that video version worked, but it's in its own lane. But I also understand what you've just said, Namdi, and I know what you're saying. I think the original version didn't really need to be. It should have been the video. There were other mixes. There was the Shumari mix. There was a Dizo mix of that as well. Fantastic. But the video mix. I get what you're saying, Zay. It was in its own lane, but it wasn't for me. But it worked for people that like that kind of thing. Fair enough.
Yeah.
My number 6 contains elements of DJ Rogers' "Say You Love Me One More Time" from '76. Brilliant track by itself. This one's written by Teddy, Chauncey, Sherry Blair. Already been mentioned. Let's Stay in Love. Very, very nice song. Lovely. Very, very nice production. The music on this it's great, but it's very polished, and it's not as gritty as like the first album, as I've already mentioned. And that was that was my issue with this album. I just felt it was too polished. But if you're listening from a musical point of view, it is a brilliant production.
Let's Stay in Love. Okay, Stevie, what's number 6?
I Can't Get You Out of My Mind. If I'm honest, I prefer the version that came out on the soundtrack.
Oh, the Have Plenty soundtrack.
Yeah, I like the story that Shaughnessy's telling of this. It's kind of a story type mid-beat ballad. Again, nice track. That's what made my number 6.
Okay, Lorena.
I can't hear you.
Sorry, I was on mute. Number 6 is I Can't Get You Out of My Mind. So same as Stevie, that's what I have at number 6.
Thank God you're
Okay,
not copying my list anymore. Thank you. So, that's good. We're back on track. I'm good now.
Yes, we're back. Now I'm copying Stevie.
Okay.
Why did you put it that? Because did it not sound different from what else?
Not much. Like it didn't sound totally out of place. I actually really like the song, but yeah, it just when I was putting everything together, when I was making like my playlist of the album, it was always in that area of like 5 and 6 placements.
Okay. So we're down to the top 5. Number 5 for me was a song that I think if I was part of either managing the group or part of Interscope, I would have said, "Let's release this track." And it was but I probably would have had to have lived in the UK first, and then I could have seen the potential of this track. When I listen to this song, it gives me and in the US, sometimes you have to have a track that says Christmas, but Christmas songs do not do as well in the US as they do here. Mariah's changed that, but it's not like here where they're constantly playing all the other songs. And this happy song, when I listen to it, it gives me the vibe of Christmas. And I had this concept in my head that if I had done this, I would have released it around November. I would have had them, almost prepared for Christmas. So let's take this record off the shelf tonight. It's about love. It could have been a video about lost love and reconciling over Christmas, and it could have just been Blackstreet's Christmas song, even though it's not a Christmas song, but very much like Last Christmas or E17, Stay Now, which doesn't have to mention Christmas, but because it's snow and stuff and it came out around that time, it just became a Christmas staple. So happy song to me at number 5. But as I said, I told Eric and Chauncey, and I actually took a video, somebody's Christmas video, I think it was either last Christmas, and played the song in the background, and you could see the fit. You could see how it fits. So happy song to me, beautiful track. Could have released a video, a Christmas, and it could have been an unofficial Christmas song, and they would have been making money from now on based on that. So that's my number 5.
Fair enough. I think there are some mixes of that. Stevie, were there some mixes of Happy Song tonight?
There was one with a guy who rapped on their Japanese version of it.
Was it JP Esquire? It was a mix with JP Esquire on there. Was that? Stevie, do you remember? I can't hear you.
You're on mute as well. What's going on? What you guys putting your stuff on mute?
Yeah, I think Namdi answered the question for me there. I think you did well there, Namdi.
Okay, fair enough. My number 5 samples Mike Geronimo, Master IC, produced by Frank Nitti and Teddy. This Is How We Roll. I listened to this song a lot back in the day. I like this song. It was just, this made it onto a few tapes for me. Definitely. I like this song a lot. This Is How We Roll. That's my number 5.
Okay. Okay. Stevie.
I've chose Good Loving. Nice flowing ballad. Nice and easy, much like a lot of the tracks that I mentioned already. Just nice album track. Very nice.
Okay. Lorena, what's number 5 for you?
Number 5, I think a lot of you guys already mentioned this track, but it came in at number 5 for me. It's Let's Stay in Love. Number 5. It's a song that I was often going back to. A song I forgot about actually. And so listening to this album, I remembered this song. And so I always would go back to it. So it made my top 5.
Yeah, it's a really well produced song. It really is.
Yeah. Okay. We're now down to our top 4. As they put No Diggity at number 5.
Last Exit said, is the chat working? I think it is. Last Exit, what's going on? Why do you think the chat's not working? Can you not see it? Is there something? Is there a technical issue? What's going on, man? If you just type what you're thinking.
Yeah, whenever you guys type it, we are seeing it. I mean, there are times when we tend to, I might overlap it, but everyone is being able to see. Number 4 for me was probably one of my favorite ballads on the album, and this is, Chauncey really delivered the song as well, and it's "Let's Stay Together, Let's Stay in Love." Yeah, definitely I probably would have preferred if they had released this as a single instead of Money Can't Buy Me Love, because Money Can't Buy You Love was I think Jimmy Iovine wanted that to be their first single, if I can remember correctly, before he was convinced Allow No Diggity be the first single. But I was never a fan of Money Can't Buy Me Love, and I thought they probably could have done something like Let's Stay in Love as a single. Really underrated, and it's definitely, I thought Chauncey did an amazing job on that.
Yeah, he did. He really did. He really did knock that song out of the park. Yeah, Chauncey did a very good.
And that's why I said I think he is a very underrated vocalist, because he was in a group where had really nice powerhouses and they had a very different style, but he had a very smooth voice. Yeah.
Yeah. My number 4 is produced by Eric Williams, Wesley Hogues, and Teddy. Samples Grover Washington Jr., Maraca speech from '78. It's written by those guys, as well as Chris Lighty. Just got to mention his name. As Stevie mentioned earlier, I prefer the remix of this as well, the one that was on Half Plenty with Lamenga Caffey and Beverly Crowder. But this album version is fantastic. This could easily have been much higher for me. I think the remix is an absolute, it's too good. The remix is just too good. I Can't Get You Out of My Mind is my number 4.
Did they have a version with SWV?
Not of that. They had, I think SWV, they did a track, Tonight's the Night. So they did Tonight's the Night and Craig Mack. So there was a version of Tonight's the Night.
Yeah, I remember that one. I do remember that. I just thought Blackstreet, I thought they can't get you out of my, I thought they did can get you out of my mind. Okay. But then that's, okay.
Yeah, and Jez, you've mentioned the DJ Kofi Mega Mix, which is on the Money Can't Buy Me Love single. I didn't know about that. I knew about that mix much before it came out. There was a promo pressing of that, just with the DJ Kofi Mega Mix, and that remix is fantastic. If you don't know who DJ Kofi is, he's a DMC champion, incredible DJ, and he mixed some Blackstreet tracks. The ones he did on that mix, you have No Diggity mixed into Queen Pen, Man Behind the Music, then Giving You All My Loving, I Like the Way You Work It, a few of the Fix mixes, and a few of the Don't Leave Me mixes. If you haven't heard it, you really need to hear it. I've distracted myself. Where are we, Namdi? Sorry.
So you've just given your number 4.
Okay,
so cool. It's on Stevie now.
All right, good.
Pick the super sensational ladies' favorite. Don't Leave Me, number 4. I mean, it's just too big. I don't know what else to say. It's as big as you get, and somehow it's found its way at number 4. Thank you, please.
On the album, is it mine says? Why does mine say we're gonna take you back? Is that
because there's an intro.
Okay. I was thinking, why does it say want to take you back and don't leave me? Okay.
And
okay.
And Derek Mallory, what you've just said, about asking Michael Jackson for permission for Money Can't Buy You Love. I was actually thinking about that today. I thought, how did Blackstreet get permission for a Paul McCartney and John Lennon song? Now, if you know me, I'm a massive Beatles fan. Where I live, there's a lot of my Beatles history. So anything to do with the Beatles, I get very happy. And obviously, I like Blackstreet a lot as well. So Blackstreet and the Beatles combination was a bit of a mad one for me. Like in my head, I couldn't process that. So I did wonder how that came about. I'd love to know that. If anybody knows, please do share.
Okay. All right. Oh, goodness. Stevie has said his number 4. Lorena, what was your number 4?
Number 4 is Good Loving. Came in at number 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
That high up?
I'm glad it's high up. Because, that's the song I've listened to most this week. There's something about that song. I don't know what it is. Oh, it's good. Yeah, it's good. It's nice. Very nice.
I know a lot of people in the chat had it at like number 9, but I don't know. I really like this song. So I put it at number 4. I feel like, of course, there's some bigger tracks that did a lot for like R&B itself. But this on the record, I thought it was really good.
Wow.
Sure.
Okay. It didn't make my top 10. That's why I'm surprised. Wow. At number 3, it is, I think, the song that just, anytime, so this yesterday I was out visiting a friend that I hadn't seen in a long time. So I was hanging out with his brother and his sister-in-law. And then he says, "Oh, to tell them that what you do." And I say, "Yeah, I've got this podcast." Now they're white, and I reference that because when they say, "Who have you had on your show?" I have to then think of, who would you know? Kool and the Gang, Sister Slade. So I have to go 5-star. I have to kind of go. I can't say SWV like, huh? So. And so because they tend not to know the those type of niche R&B groups, and so as I said, I bring this up. Then I said, okay, what about Blackstreet? And they said Blackstreet, No Diggity. Oh yeah, so that then helps me say, do you know this song? I like the way you work it. No Diggity. Oh yeah. So that says that's the reference point that I have to use. My friend keeps joking about, we white folks, we don't know all these artists, but we know a few of the pop songs. And I say this to talk about how the memories of seeing the video of No Diggity for the first time and just being blown away, because as I mentioned, I didn't hear it on the radio, and it was almost like by accident I just see it on TV. And it is almost like Rum Shaker, because when you hear it so often, you can get, but when you do listen to it, you can still appreciate that it was a very different, very interesting song. And it was something that you could say, okay, yeah, Teddy really, really put himself back on the map as a unique producer. And getting Dre to talk about, to name drop in it, is never a bad thing. So yes, No Diggity, 4 weeks at number 1, knocks the Macarena off the top 10, off number 1, and it is at number 3 for me.
Nice. Before I go into my number 3, I was in New York in that summer, and I just found this in one of my records. I think it was in I don't know which, it was one of the Blackstreet 12s. So this is what they were handing out in, I don't know if anybody remembers the HMV on 34th Street, 6th Avenue, but they're giving this out. There's this little, it's just like a little leaflet. And it says, Blackstreet in person signing copies of their new album, Another Level, including the hit single No Diggity featuring Dr. Dre at HMV on Tuesday, September the 10th, between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. I don't even remember this. I don't remember picking this up, but I would have been in New York at the time, and that was a great HMV. If you remember it in New York, brilliant stuff. My number 3 contains elements of The Message, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, and Melly Mel, etc. Produced by Teddy and Chauncey, written by those guys and Markel Riley. We've talked about it already. Namdi like the rock version. He doesn't like Slash. I mean, who knew Namdi doesn't like Slash? This is not the one that's on the album. We're obviously talking about album mixes, but this was a fantastic version of it. I believe this was done by Dizo. The Call Me mix.
Call me when you need.
There's a great Shamari mix of it, but this is Blackstreet featuring Jay-Z, and I think this was the first time. I don't. When did the City Is Mine come out? I don't know which one was first. I can't remember, but this was great. Fix is my number 3, sir. So, madam.
Yeah. So that Japanese remix CD had it, and it was definitely good. And I just remember just one thing around the Blackstreet No Diggity stuff. Lorena, have you heard the Billie Jean Blackstreet remix? No Diggity remix.
I don't know if I did. I'm taking notes so that I could go back and listen and watch these things. I feel like I have so much more to learn about this album. So I have to go back. I'm not sure.
If you go onto YouTube and type in Billie Jean No Diggity, and it's Blackstreet. So Chauncey is singing Billie Jean, but it's the No Diggity remix version of it. So if you got the maxi single, which I'm sure you guys did, it was there, and it was really. I wish they had put that as a single, Billie Jean No Diggity remix. I think that would have just been an amazing single as well. So yeah, but anyway, Stevie, what's number 3?
No Diggity. It's only made it to number 3 for me.
Yeah, but you said, what was it like when that came out in the UK? Did it, as I kept talking about how to get onto the Billboard 100, that's a massive thing, not just the R&B charts, but what was that like when it came out in the UK?
Yeah, it's big. It's a big record, Namdi.
The biggest. It was big. This is that song. Like, you're talking about the US because you were there at the time, but this song was massive. It makes total sense that this obliterated all competition. There was nobody even close to Blackstreet in 1996 when this came out.
Wow.
It was a big song. And there was some. And I was going to say about the hit list, you mentioned No Diggity, right? So in the hit list, I thought this was interesting. And I keep going back to this list because this list is so cool. So Blackstreet's No Diggity is at number 12 on this list. Number 13 is Machiavelli, Toss It Up. How cool is that? I love that. It's the same damn song, isn't it?
So yeah. Was No Diggity like on Top of the Pops and played on Radio 1? That's what I'm wondering if it made it to the sort of the popular side.
I don't remember seeing it on Top of the Pops. I wouldn't be surprised if they did. 96, 97 was a busy time. I was all over the place.
Okay, yeah,
on Top of the Pops. I might have missed it.
Okay.
I don't remember it, but it would make sense that they were on Top of the Pops. This, must have been.
DJ O'Day says that the No Diggity Das Effect remix. Have you heard that one?
Yes, there's a remix of No Diggity with Das Effects. It's called. There's one of the versions. It's called Das Diggity Radio, and there's another one which samples. It's not samples. It's like they've recreated Billie Jean, so that's called the Billie Jean Das Radio remix. So it's Billie Jean and Das Effects together with Fix. There's a lot going on there, but they weren't bad remixes. They're pretty cool.
Okay. Lorena, what's number 3 for you?
Number 3. Sorry, VJ, we're back on the same wavelength. I put Fix as number 3. I listened to that song a lot when it came out. I remember that song being played a lot in my household and with everybody. So yeah, that definitely comes in at number 3 for me.
Were you into the video version or the album version?
I like the album version better, but I didn't mind the video version. I think because like living here, you grow up a lot around like rock music, pop music, so it wasn't like out of the norm. Of course, it was out of the norm for an R&B group to do that, but like the beat itself wasn't something too crazy, so I didn't mind it.
Yeah, I think I was putting on my A&R hat, thinking to get you guys bigger, you needed, you know, the is it was yeah the sample was massive, and see others did it. Diddy did it, and Mary used the sample and to great effect, and I think they missed a chance there, starting with that, and you do a remix. I think you come out with the original, then you come out with a remix later on, would have been made perfect sense. All right, top two. Um, at number 2 for me was a song that I thought this is what really said David who, because it was, and I think this is what made what set Blackstreet apart, was the fact that they were able to think about how do we incorporate the group on a song so that everyone feels that a part of it, and and it shows the richness vocally. And if someone starts it, somebody takes it to the bridge, and it goes into there. And as I kept saying, is that the song was such a powerful song that in the US they opted not to release it as a single in order to push and propel the album, and that is "Don't Leave Me." Um, you have Eric at the back, "No baby, no baby, no baby," and then and you had Mark just going up, and stay with me for one. It was just, yeah, definitely beautiful video as well, very sentimental video, and it really, as I said, it was really on heavy rotation on MTV. It was something, it was a risk not to release as a single. It was definitely what took the album to quadruple platinum, and gave them that Grammy. So "Don't Leave Me" is at number 2.
My number 2, Last Exit. You mentioned a song a little while ago, and you said Guy could have done this song, and I'm going to say something about that in a moment. So this was sampled in 11 songs. Samples DeBarge's "A Dream" from '83. It also contains elements of Guy "Goodbye Love." It also contains elements of Blackstreet "Physical Thing" from '93. Ever so slightly, just little bits, produced by Teddy Riley and Bink Carell. The writing credits are Bink, Teddy, Chauncey, and the incredible Karen Anderson. I was at a show in New York at the Harlem Apollo, and it's a big show. Doesn't matter what the show was. Met Karen Anderson outside and had a chat with her, and I said, I just need to shake your hand. You were a co-writer on this song. And the song I'm talking about is obviously "Don't Leave Me." Phenomenal song. When this came out, it was everything. And there's a remix of that song, which it's called the "Goodbye Love" remix. So it takes the music from "Goodbye Love" from Guy's first album, and it puts it over the top of "Don't Leave Me." And 2 years later, on the Japanese release of Guy 3, they did the opposite. So they had the Guy 3 tracks. You would know what they are. Then at the end of that album, they had a track called "Goodbye Love, Don't Leave Me" remix. So it's the Guy track. It has pronounced vocals by Tammy Lucas. You can hear Tammy Lucas more clearly on that version. And then on top of that, you've got the remix that was used for "Don't Leave Me" 2 years before. that instrumentation was put on top of it, and it's Aaron singing it, and it is absolutely insane. So if you don't know it, now you do. Go and listen to it. Find it on YouTube. It is a killer. So that was for you. Last Exit, you mentioned something. And is it Chuck Wama? Or Melly? The mixing on Fixes, it was phenomenal. Yeah, you're right. So just wanted to say that. But that's my number 2. Don't Leave Me.
Okay. Yes. Okay. I need the one you mentioned about Guy 3. I don't think I've heard the.
You love it. Namdi, you're gonna lose your
singing.
Pardon my French. You're gonna lose your shit, man. You are going to lose it. So good. It's perfect.
Okay. Stevie, what's number 2?
Number 2 is based on my nightclubbing memories. It's the year that Mark Morrison came out, Return of the Mac. You know, huge, just to sound huge in a club, that. And Fix got to number 2 again. I just, it's just something that I used to really enjoy listening to, dancing to on a Saturday night. It just sounded good in the club. It hit the spot. Load of good remixes, a great remix package. Yeah.
What was your favorite remix, Stevie?
The
Shamari one or the Dieso one? Which one you would have liked?
The Dieso and the Shamari one.
The smooth
Dieso give it a more club edge. The Shamari one was smoother, but even the album mix you could dance to as well. You know what I mean? If you just pitched it up a couple of beats.
I mean, they had big budgets for singles back then. I mean, they on that the Fix. I just wanted to share this. You mentioned Fix, right? There was this pack that came out. This is a double pack that came out. Yeah, it's called Blackstreet Fix. There was album mix, main mix, the one that Namdi likes, featuring Slash and ODB. There's the Smooth Shamari mix. There's the Dieso Call Me mix. There's a man behind the music. That's an extra bonus track. The Queen Pen, they were trying to promote that as well. There's a hip hop mix. There's a Lindsley mix, and then they've added 2 Don't Believe Me. But this was a great single. If you are a collector and you want, this is the one to get.
I mean, this CD single as well, American CD Maxi, which had a lot of the mixes on, and they also debuted Queen Pen's Man Behind the Music right at the end of it.
Yeah, that was a nice bonus. We're like,
that inside it as well. It's like for merchandise. Nice picture with merchandise. If you want,
is that Blackstreet stuff? Oh, yeah. Cool.
So nice little package that.
Yeah, so I like these singles. I still remember the, especially from the first album, all the maxi singles, like the Booty Call. They had the loot, the drum and bass ones. Ain't no call like a booty call, could a booty call get this?
Yeah, they were fantastic.
I can still remember that. I remember. So I was just buying I was buying the album, buying the maxi singles, and those are the only times I'll get those ones, and stuff like that. I mean, yes. Okay.
But the one thing about
Lorena.
You mentioned maxi, and I don't want to talk too much about it. I know we've been running for quite a long time, but the thing with Blackstreet, their maxi singles were value for money. They put so much incredible music on those CDs, on the vinyl, etc., tapes. Definitely value for money. Like the Booty Call, I like the way you work it. CD, I think it had 8 mixes of each. There was a version where you had 16 mixes. Can you imagine 16 tracks on a maxi CD? What is that? That's an album, isn't it?
Yeah. Even Joey had different versions of it. I like the Uptown Joy version. Yeah. Anyway, Lorena, what's number 2?
Number 2, this was, like I was saying earlier, a huge single in Canada. It played everywhere, so it crossed over onto our pop stations and everything, to the point where I was sick of this song because it played all the time. And even though I was not in the club, I remember the YMCA, they used to have these dances for us kids the last Friday of the month, and so they would play this song too. So the song was literally everywhere. And then I didn't have like an appreciation for it until I got older, and then I realized the sample that they took from Bill Withers, and I just thought it was really cool. So number 2 for me is No Diggity.
I love
Yeah.
the memory. The memories are everything, right? Like
Yeah.
you think of a song and the way where it transports you, it just takes you to a specific time. That's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah. For Jay Leno to say we have to get the national honor because they have dethroned the Macarena for number 1 spot. Yeah, so that was interesting. All right, so
That's a massive compliment, though, isn't it? How big was the Macarena? I mean, the song sucks. I'm not going to get into. Let's not get into that discussion. But it was a big song, right?
Yeah.
And to top that, that's
And
something they can say forever. Yeah,
and it
we
knocked
the Macarena.
it from the top spot. It knocked it from number 1 in America.
Brilliant.
You had few songs doing that. Whoop, there it is, and but that started something where R&B songs and hip hop started to become a lot more appreciated mainstream, because of like what Blackstreet were doing. Because then it was almost like sky's the limit. We don't have to just be on the R&B charts. We can then start making it into these top Billboard 100, and you subsequently you started to see a lot of R&B and hip hop tracks start to now aim for the top 100, which wasn't something that was common back in the early 90s as well. All right, let me go from, so guys, for those who are just joining, we now will go from number 10 to number 1. But I'm also going to mention there are 16 songs minus interludes. So I'm 14. So I'm going to go from what's number 14 up to number 1. Money Can't Buy Me Love, my least favorite song of the album. I just thought it was like a waste of song to be on there. My Paradise interlude at number 13. Number 12 was I Want to Be Your Man. 11 was Good Loving. 10 was This Is How We Roll. 9 was I'll Give It to You. 8 was Never Gonna Let You Go. 7 was The Lord Is Real. Time would reveal. 6 is Fix. 5 is Happy Song. Number 4, it's Let's Stay in Love. Number 3 is No Diggity. Number 2 is Don't Leave Me. And my favorite song of the album, and probably, I wonder if it is my favorite song by Blackstreet. It is by a good friend of mine who brought something different, something unique. And when he writes, he tells stories. So it was very different. I Can't Get You Out of My Mind is my favorite. I hated the remix. I was like, I hated the remix. I'm like, take away from the story he's telling. He's telling a story here. And Eric is such a smooth singer. He said that people thought that he gave his singing style to Jaheim. He says, I never gave my singing style and my music to Jaheim because I never really wanted to be a vocalist. But he was different. He brought a different energy to the song with Wes and stuff. I was like, I wish they had more songs on that. They did part 2 with Drama, which was supposed to feature Mary J. Blige. She actually recorded a version, but got upset with certain things and told Jimmy Iovine to get my vocals off, and then they had to get somebody else to something F Gray to re-record Mary's part, but it didn't sound the same. So, but there was a unique style when Eric is singing and writing different, and I wish they had 2 or 3 more tracks like that on the album. But Can't Get You Out of My Mind is my favorite on the album, and that is my number 1.
And what's interesting about that? Like normally when you say, not normally, like I'll just say it. Sometimes when you say you're number 1, I want to jump into the computer and have a little word with you. This is something I agree. I understand why you like that song so much. And Eric Williams his pen game is just different gravy. And I thought like that's another frustration for me, because I think Eric should have written more songs. Like,
Yeah, they should have
he
given him a
is
chance.
so good.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
from his early days with the Flex,
Yeah, with the Flex, with Dennis,
Jaheim, everything with
John L.
Blackstreet,
Jones. Yeah, yeah.
Donnell Jones, of course. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was. I listened to it. I think they should have had more songs. He should have given them more songs, given them a different edge, because this sounds. It doesn't sound like the rest of the songs. Even production wise, it didn't sound like the rest. It sounded richer. So give it a try, guys. Listen to his song, and listen to it, and then listen to it, and it doesn't sound like it's the same recording or production like the rest of the other songs. But that's number one. My mic dropped there.
I
VJ.
haven't. See, I've been running around a lot today. Normally, I would print things off so I can access my computer. So I don't need to access my computer. The full list is on my computer, but I have my top 12. So I'm going to just share that with you, if that's okay. My top 12 is I Want to Be Your Man. As I mentioned, Karen Anderson and Spragg combination with C Black, Markel Riley and Teddy, killer track. Number 11, Money Can't Buy Love. The idea that Blackstreet did a cover of a Beatles song, my brain struggles to process that. That is just next level stuff. And I thought it was a good cover. Number 10, Happy Song Tonight. Number 9, The Lord Is Real, Time Will Reveal. Number 8, I'll Give It to You. Amazing. Listen to Xavier Hargrove's other work. The boy is nuts. Good Loving should have been a single. C Black kills it on this song. So should have been a single. What's my number 6? Let's Stay in Love is number 6. This Is How He Rolls, number 5. I Can't Get You Out of My Mind, number 4. Fix is number 3. Don't Leave Me is number 2. That leaves only one other song that's going to make it. It samples the incredible, and the original version is just something that just feels like home when you listen to it. Bill Withers, Grandma's Hands from 1971. There's just something so, that song is just, yeah, it's, you feel like home. You think of your grandma when you hear that song. But the way that William Skill Stewart's and Teddy Riley had used that sample, put it over on this track, written by TR, CB, Chauncey Black, L. Walters, William Stewart, Skill Stewart, and Dr. Dre. No Diggity. It's number 1 for a reason. I still don't feel bored of that song. Like, you know, when you've heard a song a lot, a song like Poison, say, for example, you get bored of it and then you think, I can't listen to it now. I've never, ever been bored of No Diggity. Ever. I could listen to it. If I hear that, I've got a smile on my face. It's a good song. It's a great song. That's my number 1.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I was listening to it in the background. So, well, okay. That's a beautiful song, and definitely one that is probably in the R&B Hall of Fame. Stevie.
Number 10, My Paradise Interlude. Number 9, I Want to Be Your Man. Number 8, This Is How We Roll. Number 7, Let's Stay in Love. Number 6, I Can't Get You Out My Mind. Number 5, Good Loving. Number 4, Don't Leave Me. Number 3, No Diggity. Number 2, Fix. My number 1 is a precursor to another album from a group we'd not heard of that came out after this. And that was a great album as well. And probably one day we'll have to get around to doing that album, because this feels like a track that it just sounds like them, but it wasn't. And I've gone with I'll Give It to You at number 1. I'm talking about Men of Vision, of course. It sounds like very much like a Men of Vision track.
I'll give it to you.
Yes.
Whatever you want, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, the production just sounds like it could have easily been Men of Vision. Sounds like when he was working on that track, he's working on the Men of Vision album.
Stevie, your brain never ceases to amaze me, man. It's like, I love that you put that at number 1, man. That's a great choice.
Yeah.
Not an obvious choice, obviously. It's just become, maybe because I've heard the other track so many times that track has just become a go-to track for me. I'm not saying it's the best track on the album. I understand why it's at other places and probably no one else to put it in. It's just a go-to track now. I've heard the other tracks so many times. I don't need to hear them again. You know what I mean? I've heard them enough times, but and that's got more of a New Jack edge as well, I think. Dare I say that word New Jack swing. But anyway, number one, I'll give it to you.
And what's that? There's who said that? Is A Dangby? You said never been bored of Poison. I was bored, but it's back again. I listened to it again. I'm good now. I'm good with Poison. We're friends again, so we're good. We're good.
Yeah, goodness, that's a surprise. I'll give it to you. Well, okay. Yeah, okay. That's what as left field as you could get with a track. Okay. Yeah, Lorena.
So I feel like listening to that track, I could see Stevie putting it high on the list. I feel like that's on brand. I don't know.
Yeah,
depends on when you
listen to it again.
Well, when did you finalize this list, Stevie?
Today at about 12:30.
Yeah, so I think his I don't think this is a list he would have had last week. So that's why I don't really I don't trust what he's put in there.
It's the list for today, and that's fine. It's the list for today. This podcast, we're good. It's good.
Yeah. Go ahead, Lorena. Do you want to count down?
Yeah. So I only have 2 outside of the top 10. So at 12, it's Money Can't Buy Me Love. Number 11, This Is How We Roll. Number 10, I Want to Be Your Man. Number 9, The Lord Is Real, Time Will Reveal. Number 8, I'll Give It to You. Number 7, Never Gonna Let You Go. Number 6, I Can't Get You Out of My Mind. Number 5, Let's Stay in Love. Number 4, Good Loving. Number 3, Fix. Number 2, No Diggity. And number 1 was another big track. It brings back a lot of good memories. They also played this. It wasn't played on the radio here, but it was played a lot like outside. And so that is Don't Leave Me at number 1.
Yeah. It definitely, those songs are always killer songs. Those songs where men are begging, I'm sorry, forgive me, don't leave me. Those songs never always get given lots of love, you know, when you have one of those things. And they had a follow-up song on the Finally album called I'm Sorry, which I think would have been a killer track if they had released it. I'm Saying I'm Sorry, and I think it was Terrell that really sang that, and that those kind of songs. But as I said, this was on heavy rotation on MTV at this time, so definitely a good song. Mark Middleton just was a beast on that. He would have given Wanye a run for his money the way he pulled that off. Okay, definitely a good list. Vita, did you get your compilation? I don't know if he's.
I did. Before I shared that, I did buy the Japanese copy of Another Level as well, and I thought there was a bonus track. If there is, I can't remember now. I got this such a long time ago, but there's a booklet, Japanese booklet, if you can see that, Another Level Japanese booklet, and the only extra thing I've got from this particular issue of the CD is the song lyrics in Japanese. Not very helpful to me, so I don't know why I bought that, but I'm a collector, and you know I get all these weird bits and pieces. But I thought I'd share that. We do have a final list. I had a few submissions this week. This show was quite last minute, so we didn't get as many submissions as we normally do. Shout out to everybody that submitted it. Special shout outs to Brandon and Claude, who I saw this Michael movie with today. Anyway, thank you to everybody that sent in the list. I'll go from 14, if that's okay. From 15. Blackstreet on the Radio at number 15. Number 14 was I Want to Be Your Man. Number 12 was Never Gonna Let You Go. Number 13 was My Paradise Interlude. Number 11 was Money Can't Buy Me Love. based on that alone, maybe it shouldn't have been a single. I don't know. Number 10, The Lord is Real, Time Will Reveal. Number 9, Happy Song Tonight. Number 8, Good Loving. Hold on 1 second. Number 7, Let's Stay in Love. Number 6, I Can't Get You Out of My Mind. Number 5, This Is How We Roll. Number 4, I'll Give It to You. Stevie, I'm just saying, like, what are the odds of that? I'll give it to you at number 4. The people that submitted lists, they clearly like it just as much as you. Number 3 was Don't Leave Me. Number 2 was Fix. And number 1, No Diggity, No Doubt. That's the list.
I don't think it's surprising because it's a song on its own that it's definitely a defining song. It's like Jade's Don't Leave Me. It's like Jade's Don't Walk Away. Those are the songs, BBD's Poison, stuff like that. Okay.
And
so
Zach has said the Japanese bonus has This Is Your Night. It must be a hidden track. I'm sure it's on there. That is a great song, though. This Is Your Night by Blackstreet. Should have been on the European and US issues of the album, but This Is Your Night, if you haven't heard that, another Blackstreet track from this era as well.
Okay.
Thanks, Zach.
So out of 10, what are you guys giving the album?
Who's going first?
Yeah, you can go, CJ.
The first album was 9.5 for me. It's just so good. So for me, the album was too polished. I thought the grittiness, the street edge that the first album had was lost on this album. I understand it. I know why the album did well. It makes sense, but I felt it was too polished. I feel that the energy of that first album was lost. So for that reason, I give it a 7, 6.5, 7. It's very good, but it is not in the same league as the Blackstreet debut. That is the killer album for me.
Okay. Lorena, what about you?
Well, of course, I can't compare it to his first album yet, but I'm definitely going to listen to it. I'm probably going to go down a Blackstreet rabbit hole after this and really get into it. So I'm not letting this album go just yet, but I am going to definitely take my time and listen to the first one. So for now, I'm going to rate it at 8.5. It might change in the future, but right now, this is where it lands for me.
No, but one thing, Lorena, like, that makes sense to me. If this is your introduction to Blackstreet, I completely get that rating. If I'd heard this album first and I didn't know of any of the music that these guys had done before, I would have easily put that up there.
Okay.
So that makes sense. But I'm just, anyway, fine.
What about you, Stevie?
Before I head very wearily to my sleeping bag, Big shout to the Bridge, by the way. Bridge, I haven't spoke to you for ages. How you doing? DJ all day, yes. Who else is there? Who is Mr. Vampapam? I'm sorry if I murdered your name. But yeah, I'm just wearily heading to my sleeping bag. To the great man out there, the great man, TR, on this second album. To the great man, great production. I'll give it a 10 out of 10, just for the great man out there that you are.
Wow. Okay. I probably would give it a 7, and I'll say just because sonically I felt like VJ says it just sounded too polished, and it didn't feel as how I like the Bobby album. But I'd also say this, that maybe nostalgia wise, when those of us who were Guy fans, when Guy broke up, this was the next thing. And when the original album, the debut album came out, so there was a sense of, wow, so there's a way of just almost then just rushing to the debut album and appreciating the fact that he had 15 plus songs. And then you get the big hits on this. and then it just changes, and they become everyone's group as opposed to our little group that we have. But I've great songs on this, but I vocally I think so. We will definitely try and do the debut album to get when Lorena gets a chance to listen to it, so then we can get to see how she finds that. But for everyone out there who's been with us for the last 2 hours, we definitely appreciate you, and keep supporting good music. On Tuesday, the 2nd of June, are coming live, and so we want everyone to tune in on Tuesday, as Rex and Fex will come on, both Arkell and Markel. Opportunity for everyone to ask them questions directly about songs, about production, about whatever it is. So you've listened to the interviews, but now you've got a chance to talk to them live. So join us on Tuesday live at 9 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. UK time. We will be back. We're not sure with what, but we will be back. So keep celebrating the music. You know, there's a lot of whether it's new stuff or old stuff, just that's what we are, spreading positivity and spreading love. Till next time, guys. Take care.
Thank you. Take care, guys.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of Halftime Chat. Please remember to subscribe, share, and comment. But most importantly, why don't you become a member of Halftime Chat? We've got amazing videos, amazing perks, and being able to support the channel. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care.
I never participated in that kind of.
Somewhere in between us, or even loving us, on which I didn't miss you with.
What was it like growing up?
She's still making an impact on 4 houses down.
I have a couple of pieces.
Trying to get this one and that one.
That works for you, but just for me,
No. Okay.
They understand what Jonas Boys and Winnie all
Play it.